Have you ever felt like the underdog? Are you a small channel? Are you new to making content? Or you have some other kind of perceived disadvantage? Well, today on Creators Unstuck, we're going to talk about how that disadvantage is probably your unfair advantage.
Woo. Welcome to Creator Stuck. This show is about helping creators who are just stuck in the myriad things that come to you as a content creator. And definitely one of them is this idea of these are my weaknesses. These are the things I can't do. These are what's holding me back, so forth, so on, etc. So this week we're talking about what's holding you back. So that's our question. Our question for this week. And make sure you drop this in the comments. If you catch this reel on social, put it in the comments. The cool thing about Creators Unstuck is we're being out there for creators in general. It doesn't matter whether you create YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, podcasts, excuses, whatever.
All creativity.
This is all creativity. This is a safe space. We want to help you get unstuck and let your creativity flow. And the most important thing for us is going to be y'all. Y'all got to actually get out there and fess up, because we can't help you if you don't raise your hand. Hey, excuse me, I got a question. So drop them down in the hotness below. All right, Mary Lou. What would you say is the thing that's holding you back?
I would say historically, this is kind of projected onto me, would be the fact that I am a woman in production, right? A woman in this kind of a space would be a perceived disadvantage. Now, I've fortunately over the years done the work on that, and that is like by far my advantage, because I scare people. The ones who are scared of women, they get scared of me. And I was like, that's not my problem. That's your problem. But that's like flipping a disadvantage to an advantage is something that I think is an advantage that I've developed over the years. Because anytime I'm like, oh, well, I don't have the right camera, it's like, that's fine, that I can make that an advantage, because then I have to work within these confines. Like sometimes like creativity like works well with like some boundaries.
Yes. Man, you think about our mom's ability to go into the fridge and pull out some ingredients that don't make no dang sense, and then they throw it together and then, whip it up in a little pancit, and you're like, oh, hold up, girl, what was that? And then you're like, Mom, can you make that again? Nah. Why? Because that was the one time we had these amount of ingredients. I don't even remember what I put in there. Moms be doing, I be doing that. Like I can make fried rice out of anything in anybody's refrigerator. Like it's just something that I've developed the skill at, being a poor kid. So again, people, today we're talking about turning those weaknesses or perceived weaknesses into an advantage. And like, think about some of the things that are holding you back, because maybe we can help you sort of reframe that. That's my common terminology. I'm going to reframe it, or just let's take out the science. We're going to look at it differently so you can figure out how to make that work for you. So you mentioned the one thing about being a female in the production space. I have a similar thing of being a person of color in the production space. But one of the ways I've always flipped that on the head, I believe, is expectations are lower. So I don't run my mouth. I'm going to just do it. And then they be like, oh, who did that? And they be like, oh, Doc did that. And they're like, what? Who helped you? Me. No, you must have had like a tick. No, I did it. They're like, oh, snap. All right, cool. So you show you what you're working with, right? Put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. So oftentimes in a situation where people are going to think less of you, the knee-jerk reaction is to want to fight back. The knee-jerk reaction is to be like, yo, I've got Pelés. I have awards. Like I have won like every job I've ever been in sales. I've been the number one salesperson the next time they count score, right? But just don't say nothing. Just be quiet, show up and do the thing and do the thing, do the thing. And yeah, it's kind of funny.
There's a big advantage in being underestimated. Like being the underdog means you're just underestimated, and you're also unexpected, because you can just sneak up on people because they're like, ugh, that's not somebody to worry about. So then you just sneak up and they're like, oh, whoops, I should have been looking over there. Like, well, you are now, aren't you?
All right, so I want to say that, again, on the question of today, what's holding you back? One of the common ones I hear, and I would say also it was one of mine for the longest time, is everybody will go to time. And I'm not talking about the herb. I'm talking about time. Everybody will say, I don't have the time. I don't have this. I don't have that. Well, first of all, let's start here. Nowadays, and I had this conversation with someone yesterday, there is no greater time than this week to be a creator, because there are tools out here that just make your time so much simpler. From the productivity and product management tools to just some of the creator tools that are out there, like how fast one can upload a video, cut a video, fix the sound on a podcast. Like, it's bananas. When I do this podcast, I take my audio and Lou's audio and I throw them at an app that basically evens us out and makes her sound louder than me, softer, so that we can be even.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. And then it put that back into a single audio file that is just ready to go. I can just pop that right in. Before, that alone, just getting the levels right would probably take me an hour or so of just tweaking. So I think about that. But I also believe that it's super easy nowadays because of things like the watch and the ring. I can self-audit my day, right? Because Google will give me a map of where I've gone throughout the day. If you're not scared of, them knowing where you went, I can see where I'm wasting time. And so now when one of my buddies is like, hey, can we go do X? I'm like, no. And then they hit you with, oh man, but you used to blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I used to do a lot of things, but in order for me to get to where I want to be, I need to work on this. We're friends. You love me more than anybody else in my crew. You have got to give me that space to do this thing I want to do, because this means almost as much to me as you do. And if you want to remain a member of the family, if you want to remain a member of my friend group, then you need to respect that. And anybody who doesn't is not your, press the button for the censor friend. I can't find it. I can't find it. No. All right, it's none of those. All right, I don't even have.
So like Doc's disadvantages, all the things. It's just
I don't have the censor button loaded, but I can hit it with a. So there's that.
That's right.
All right, like legit. So and most people are afraid to do that because they're afraid to lose a friend. Any friend that won't give you the space to do the thing that you need to do to improve your life is not your freaking friend anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say, Sammy, listen, bro, I love you, but I can't deal with you this week. I got to handle this business. Sammy would be like, bet, I'll hit you up next week. And then Sammy would laugh at you because Sammy just laughs at everything. But, that's what he would do because he's a real G, right? That's my little nephew. Like, I know he would give me the space. I know that most of you guys as friends, because we're all creators, you're going to give each other that space. So I think time is one that everybody uses. And I tell you, if you do a day audit and you check the rhyme, you can probably find some space. And you really need like an hour a day to get started. And you will find from the love and the care and the attention that you put into your craft, hours a day is enough. And you'll quickly turn that into, because you do what you like. That's what grown folks do. You couldn't wait to get grown so you can do what you want to do. And then you don't do what you want to do because somebody else telling you what to do. No.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and with time, like we have the ability to wake up earlier or stay up later or manage things. Like these are choices that we can make. Like granted, there are things that you got to do, right? Like those of y'all that have kids, bless y'all for furthering the human race. I am not participating in that game,
Me neither.
but I will take care of as many cats as I can. But bless y'all for doing that. Where you can, you have the option to do right with your time. So yesterday I had to wake up way earlier than normal because I needed to do a video with someone who's on the East Coast, but they could only do the morning. So I was like, you know what? That's fine. It's early. It was early for me, but it was like, you know what? I can do it. No problem. Because I have this flexibility, I can make that choice. So while that was perhaps a disadvantage because I'm like, oh, they're on the East Coast. Like I have to get up. I think I was like up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock to be like on camera, like 5:30. Doc does this all the time because he's like on another planet. But you can choose to do that. Like you can choose to do that. And yesterday, instead of that being like, oh, I got to wake up early, then I'll go back to bed, I used that advantage of being up early. And let me tell you, when I got so much done before 9 a.m., and I was like, it's only 9? Great. And I just like killed it. I did so much yesterday. And now next week, I'm getting up extra early again.
Isn't it freaking incredible? So it's funny you say that, because I was just talking about how the time thing changed. It was telling Ecam that I'm not afraid to get up at 4 a.m. because I'm ex-military. So I have no problem doing it. And then when I do get up that early to do some things, normally I'm done by like 5 or maybe 6. And then I got like 2 hours of golden hour, because I have a practice, people. It's called golden hour. I get up and I spend the first hour of my day when the brain is the smartest, learning myself the new stuff that y'all keep asking me, like, how do you know all of these things? I have a dedicated hour to fill my brain with new content. And it is, what is the word? Not unrevocable, not unquestionable. Oh my God, I can't think of the word right now.
It's just like required, right? Like
it's a required, like there's
a must
non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Like it's been non-negotiable for me for going on 20 years now. Like I'm going to spend an hour first thing in the morning getting blessed. If I had to run to the other side of the island first thing in the morning, that means instead of listening to Kendrick in the car, I got to listen to Seth. No shade, Kendrick. Between you, Drake, and Seth, guess who wins? You know what I'm saying?
Wop,
Seth
wop,
got
wop,
you. Sorry, Kendrick. You know, I want to see Kendrick versus Gary Vaynerchuk. That'd be dope. Gary would win.
Oh, that would actually be very fun.
All right, so I'm going to listen to Gary. I'm not going to listen to Kendrick in that moment. So, yeah, like that is one of those things. And I think you just nailed it on the head, right? I found that what normally people would say, oh, it's so early, it's so early, it's so early. Like, that's an advantage, homie, because you got space for a minute. You know what I mean? And then you're up and about in your house when no one else is in your way, right? And so, you know, a famous doc saying, either you in or you in the way. So let's go. I used to sell a t-shirt that say that.
That's a really good t-shirt. It's either you're in or you're in the way.
Right to that.
You better choose a lane. Choose a lane. So with these disadvantages, perceived disadvantages, that might be your superpower, right? You can make choices, and there's a lot of times there's things you can do about it. So like with the time zone thing. So it's like everybody else is awake at a different time, but you have to be awake because the people you're working with are on the other side of the planet. Well, that is an advantage actually, because you have to get up earlier, so you have a head start, you have more time. So it is about these choices. So even with like, I don't know graphic design that well. Like I don't have the eye for it or the energy for it or the time for it. But the advantage is, because of being in this community, we know people who do this. And that is an advantage of being part of communities, being out here with other creators. So we've got Marshall, who's working on our graphics, because that is where his zone of genius is, right? So it's like, can I pull from the community? That is an advantage from being out here in the community, right? We get to know other people who have other services like that. So grateful to them for sponsoring us and working on our stuff here, working on our graphics. I cannot wait to see what they are. But your advantage, like of even like people saying like, oh, you spend too much time online, right? Like, is that a disadvantage or is it an advantage? You know, because we're out here.
Okay. I have a thought, but before I get to that thought, oh my God. First of all, I was going to give you props on the dope segue to bring in the sponsor line. But if you just clicked in, you just tuned in, you just found us some kind of way. Today, we're talking about turning your weaknesses into strengths. I know as a creator, there's a lot of weaknesses. Some are perceived, some are real as all get. But we're still going to tell you how to flip them on their butt and let's, turn them into a strength. So speaking of sponsors, because Lou just did it, like, man, that was elegant. We got to give a big shout out to PodPack. PodPack, you can find them at thepodpack.com. That is our homie Marshall Fox. And you'll notice right now that we have some really generic branding. Not for long. Not for long, homie, because PodPack is over there working feverishly on our new brand kit. And our brand kit is going to look so dope when it's done. Like, it's amazing. I just got to break bread with him in Atlanta, and I seen what their team can do. It's phenomenal. If you go over to Podpack, thepodpack.com, it's podpack.com, and use the code Creators Unstuck, you're going to get $500 off your podcast branding pack. Okay? Okay. It's going to be your podcast, your show, your YouTube channel, whatever get your goodness got, go check them out. It's going to be dope. And then our other sponsor, I'll let Mary Lou read it because it just feels creepy when I do it.
Other sponsor, Creators Unstuck, is sponsored by Doc Pops. Look good, sound good. Doc has done the work and has known for years what it takes to sound good and look good on camera and out in the world. So he has done beautiful work designing these pop filters of many beautiful, beautiful colors. And I will say, like, personally, like, it's the most vibrant, beautiful ones that I've tried. I actually was going through my old gear and I found like old, like colorful pop filters that I had, and they're not cute. Like, that's why I never used them. That's why they're in a box. And now they're going to go in the trash because I got my Doc Pops. So you guys make sure you order them so all of us can get them, because we are in crowdfunding stage and we got to get the orders up so everybody can look good and sound good with the Doc Pops.
Oh my God. Listen, okay. So I got thoughts about the spending too much time online thing, right? Know Your Jones in our studio audience. And I just told Paul, oh my God, I said I had a thought. I forgot what it was that quick. But then Know Your Joe just put the comment in. So this is why you record in front of a live studio audience, people. This is why you record in front of a live studio audience. Thank you, Joe. The reason why people say we spend too much time online is those people have those little germ factories running around their house. And Cosmopolitan told them that letting their little germ factories be online is bad for them. So they accepted that whole cloth, right? I have a nephew who, of the nieces and nephews, that mama listened to me, and I was like, allow him to be online. He loves music. Let's get him making music videos. Let's get Kazuma making beats, right? Because he's a dancer. And so rather than just watch other people dance, how about he learn how to make his own music so his dancing is better, because he can make the tracks that goes with his ability to choreograph, whatever that word is. And Cuz is only 13, just turned 14. And he just got sent to Japan to go do a workshop. You know what I mean? Because he spent his time online creating beats, creating videos about his dancing. He's been in the Snoop Dogg video. He's been on Magnum PI. He's been on Hawaii Five-0. He's doing workshops in Japan. He's teaching workshops in Hawaii, all at the age of 14. While the parents are saying, oh, your kid's spend too much time online doing what? See, you took the lazy part and spend too much time doing online. Online makes your brain broke, blah, 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 blah. Kazuma's about to buy his uncle a house in a couple of years. And all of y'all y'all ain't let online because y'all was scared. While you online trying to make money, you sound foolish. You sound foolish telling your kid not to be online. And now you think you two don't need to be online, and everybody's making money online, and you feel some type of way because you're not making money online. If you do not let go of that thought, you cannot be successful online yourself, because you have a certain amount of disregard for the thing that you're trying to use to make money. Online is not bad. There are idiots in the streets. There's idiots online, and you just learn how to navigate them. You know, when you grow up hood, you learn how to navigate thuggishness in the street. So if you grow up online, you learn how to navigate thuggish online. You don't hide from it. You work with it. So that's my thought. That had nothing to do with today's show. Well, maybe it does.
No, it does.
I think it blocks people. I think it secretly blocks people from winning online because they still listening to Cosmo and all this other dumb stuff about social media is bad and blah, 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 blah. You can curate your feed. I don't see dumb stuff in my feed.
Right. So okay. So then that brings me to the next point that I want to discuss with you is about your perceptions. Like, a lot of the times we've discussed in previous episodes, like the insecurities, the things that you're feeling are really projections from somebody else. It's somebody else's insecurity. So think about the projection that's happening. So this morning at breakfast, I was talking with Will, my partner, about this kind of concept. Just like, I was like, what do you feel like people thought was a disadvantage of yours, but it's actually an advantage? So he was working in writers'
Be
rooms
tall and
for,
smiley.
yes, being tall and smiley was definitely an advantage. Caught my
Oh,
eye.
easy, Mary Lou. Calm down.
Woo! We just hit our 7-year anniversary. I'm so excited.
Congrats.
Thank you. That's it. That's the sound. So we were talking about him working in writers' rooms for TV and film. But he's also an actor. So a disadvantage was that he is an actor and needed to leave sometimes to go on auditions. But was that an disadvantage at him, or was it that other people in the room felt insecure because he was doing the most like in the good way? Because when you think about in a writer's room, they're like, oh, you can't be a staff writer because you're an actor. But like, that is not real, because you would think that's an advantage. You have an extra viewpoint. You have an additional mindset. You can see a little bit differently. Like, you can look at things in a different way. And that's like all creativity is like, can you take this thing and look at it from a whole bunch of different angles? Now, the disadvantage of them not bringing him on to be staff writers, right? Because the people who are holding the keys, who got the locks to the door, who are keeping the gate shut, were feeling insecure about themselves. So a perceived disadvantage, because like in the system, it served as a disadvantage, but like in truth, it is a superpower. And now he's using that superpower because he's a writer and a performer and a musician and a comedian and doing all of his things. So think about that whenever your disadvantages like start to flare up or start to get in your way or cause trouble. Is that you, or is it just it's their BS that's getting in your way?
It is their BS, man. And their BS is their belief system, right? A lot of times other people's belief system can definitely get you, man. It can definitely get you. So that is, oh my God, that is so true. All right. So I just get it, like, again, I think of one of the things that's holding you back being an advantage, right? I heard a story where a person is completely disorganized, like terribly disorganized. But a lot of disorganized people figure out how to work their way through all of this, right? It's just how they roll, right? Because their brain is so fast that the idea of stop moving long enough to put a bunch of stuff into neat little boxes don't make any sense to them. So at a networking event, met somebody and was like, oh my God, I love you. Like, I want to work with you. I cannot wait. Traded business cards, the whole 9 yards, and then get back to the house the next day, get up, let me call this person back. Can't find a business card. But they busy. So they just keep doing their thing, whatever. Eventually, like 2 or 3 weeks pass, find the business card at the bottom of the briefcase. Say, oh, snap. I need to call back Aubrey. Hey, Aubs. Sorry for the delay. I just want to give you a call and see if you're still interested in working together. And it's like, oh my God, I know you are so busy. I am so surprised that you called me back. I can't believe you are taking time out of your busy schedule to call me back. Yes, I cannot wait to work with you. And because I understand you are so busy, I won't waste too much time. Let's just get straight into the details. Strength and weakness.
That's a strength.
You know what I'm saying? I try to explain this to my team. My team is the biggest over planners in the world. And I'm like, I can do stuff and rotate on the fly and fix it faster than you can plan it. Just let me do it. But they got to plan everything and they get on my damn nerves. But I love them. They drive me crazy. They be planning like how to move a page from one page to the other page. I'm like, while you guys are planning, I already did it. Like, just give me the bullet points. Let me make the video. They got to plan when you're going to make the video. I was like, I can make a video in my sleep. This was the Cap Show. And like, in working with them, love them to death. They're awesome. But the team had all these various plans about all these different videos and like, how are we going to do it and how are we going to do the lives? And I'm like, yo, I do lives in my sleep. Just let me show up. And they're like, oh no, but we want to cover this. I was like, don't worry. I just need to see it in the corner of my eye. It's going to get covered. And so the first thing they say, well, here's a list of stuff we need to make video about. I sent them all the videos, like a couple hours. I was like, here you go. And they're like, oh, but we didn't even plan the rest of these videos. It's okay. They're done. Like, just let me do it. Right. So sometimes I get you have to plan because, failure to plan is planning to fail. But there's also over planning. There's procrastination.
Procrastination. Yeah, that's true.
That's a new one.
That's true. Okay, so I have I have a game that I want to play.
Ooh, let's
with
play a
this
game.
advantage, disadvantage. But before we get to that, I want to know your pick of the week.
Oh, I keep telling myself I was going to make a graphic. Pick of the week. Oh, there it is. There's the graphic.
It's there. We did it. Good job.
My pick of the week is an application called Mac Whisper. Okay.
Ooh, tell me about that.
Mac Whisper is dope. I'm going to first point out you can do every one of these things right now on ChatGPT to a certain extent. You can also do these with any myriad form of transcription tools. But the one thing that makes this good is it's done directly on your Mac and it's local. So what I did was I threw it this episode and it generated this transcript of you and I talking. Okay. Then I could go over and to the segments thing and I can see various portions about our transcript. I can export that transcript into VTT or SRT, which is the way that YouTube needs it or some other applications. But then what I get to do is come over to the AI side and I can select a model. So let's say I want to do ChatGPT 4.0. I can say, go get me the bullet points for this transcript. So I can click on bullet points and press submit. And it's going to reach out to the old ChatGPT and it's going to give me the bullet points off of the full transcript. And because this is happening locally on your machine, number one, you're getting a little bit less of the hallucination or the craziness that can come with ChatGPT. And then number two, it's just a lot quicker because it's literally happening on your machine. I could also switch to Claude because I'm telling you right now, Claude's a little bit more brilliant. So I can do the same thing and have Claude generate me the same bullet points. And of course, you can see Claude's prettier because like I said, Claude is magna cum laude. ChatGPT is like, smart guy in class, couple of A's and a B minus here and there. But Claude is a magna cum laude at this point for the next 3-4 weeks anyway. Because they constantly flip-flop. But you can do things like highlight the key points, pull out the questions from the show, identify emotions from the show, generate a frequently asked questions. These are all in there. And you can, if you have your own prompts, you can go in and add your own prompts. But Mac Whisper is very, very, very clutch. I absolutely love this tool. I like how fast it is. And I like the fact that even if something were to happen and say the internet's not working that day, or Chad gives you the thing that Chad gives you where, hey, I'm busy. You can be like, that's all right, fool. I got Mac Whisper. Chad, I see how you be. I thought we was tight, So yes, Mac Whisper is dope. It's written by a single guy, Jordy. You can find it on Gumroad. I'll put the links in the description. And yes, Jordy is from the Netherlands. Holland, my favorite.
Oh, I'm downloading this right now.
Yeah, it's really cool. If you happen to have Pro, my version is the Pro version because you know me. I always want to support these developers because I want to see Jordy keep going. But the free version is dope for someone who's just in a position where they cannot help. I think if I'm going to say it correct in Norland, it might be Jordy instead of Jordy. No J in the Netherlands. But yeah, like Jan instead of Jan. Yeah. Anyway, I'm practicing my Dutch. I'm letting my Dutch go together. Now I feel like I want to have. I put on some wooden shoes. That's just racist. Anyway, hi, Mary Lou.
Hi there.
What is your pick of the week? Mark is cracking up in the Zoom in the background in the back room. Mark is cracking up because one of our live studio audience members is from Holland, the Netherlands, as they say, and he's dying over here. I'm sorry, Mark. I take it back. I won't be racist anymore. Go get your windmill. Ooh, they did it again.
Oh,
sorry, Mary Lou.
All right, so my pick of the week is something that's come up often in my live streams on my channel, And then out in the world is my Osmo Pocket 3 creator combo specifically. I don't try to get every camera that comes out, but this came to me in a very interesting way because years and years and years ago, I had a couple DJI products that just would embarrass me out in the field. I had like the original DJI Osmo, and I had the drone, little drone, Mavic, the red one. I called her Robin Sparkles. But they just would fail on me all the time, right? Like they were fun, the footage looked great, but I would be out on jobs and they would just like not connect. They would, and this was like years ago, right? So I was like signed off on DJI. I was like, don't worry, I don't need to use them. There's plenty of other products out there. Now I had been using my Sony ZV-1 for my like around the house kind of filming vertical videos, like when I need to do product videos in the kitchen or, you know, stuff out in the world. But my ZV-1's usually attached to my desk.
And she disembodied his little brother on screen.
What's that? Oh yeah, I did. I sure did. I still have it in a little box. She's in her little grave. But she's doing okay. I took apart a ZV-1 on camera because it was broken and I knew I couldn't fix it, but the drama was fun.
The drama was fun.
The drama was fun. And maybe one day I will learn how to repair. Yeah, don't touch that. No, it was so funny because everyone was like, no, not, yes, that, no.
Oh my God.
And then the rest of us who like I admitted, I'm like, I do not know what I'm doing, but I knew the thing was dead. That's what I knew for sure. It was going to cost as much to repair it as to just get like a new used one or secondhand one. But like, fortunately, Doc donated Stacy to the cause. So my sister now has a ZV-1 again. So, but I was looking for a second ZV-1 to use because I don't like to take stuff off of my set. And then I started to see these comparisons of the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I hadn't looked at 1, 2, years I haven't looked at DJI products. And then the ZV-1, it was like all these comparison videos. And I was like, I'm not looking at it. Okay, let me take a peek at it. And I was like, I think it's really good. I think it has what I'm looking for. So I got that in March. And I have no regrets. I'm using this camera like almost every day. It's just so fun, easy, and versatile, right? So I love the Insta360 cameras, but those are specialty cameras. Those are like when you need that shot. When I need to put a camera in a cup of water or I need to attach it to my cat, I'm going to use the little bitty one, the Insta360 Go 3S. If I need a 360 image off the side of a building in Chicago, then I'm going to use the X4. But for moving around in the world, this one, Thursday, I had my live stream and then I was like not feeling it. I was like, the desk wasn't set up, the office wasn't set up, but I pulled this out and live stream from this, cleaning in the kitchen, cooking my lunch, chit-chatting with the people. It was everything. And if you get the creator combo, it comes with everything. Now, that's with products. The product is good. Now, it's easy to want to cancel a brand because of some kind of interaction, because of something going on in the world. Now, I love this piece, right? I love this thing, but I had a question. I had a very specific question about live streaming, which has come up between like a bunch of us. We happened to be at NAB back in April, and there's a big DJI booth, right? And I was like, my mission the whole time was like, we're going to talk to all these people, but I want to talk to the DJI people because I want to tell them how much I love this, but I have a question about a certain thing because we're used to talking to different brands and like they listen to us. It's a conversation. It's not a big deal. We went to this booth and I was completely blown off and ignored. Just basically like, okay, little girl, don't talk to me. You're not important. I'd rather talk to these people. It's how I felt. Will that mean I don't want to use this camera anymore? No, because the brand and the product I separate from the people and marketing situations. And these are individuals. There's like so much more than this like one person who gave me a bad experience versus the entirety of all the people who had to work on this to make this good and the years of like technological developments and the testing and everything. Like, so there's someone listening somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
And don't worry, DJI is going to know me eventually.
Oh, 100%.
They're going to know me eventually. But I love that thing.
And
So,
even better, you get to tell the story of how you could have walked away at that point, but you stayed. That actually makes you even better. Okay, so I have a really, really good story to tell you about DJI. This literally just happened this week. So my Osmo Pocket 3, I don't know what happened to it, but the screen would not stay, like she's showing you with the vertical screen, that screen flips sideways so that you can do landscape, right? Mine would go to landscape mode and doink, it would flip back, like, because there's a spring in there. And I hit up DJI and I was like, yo, man, my screen is doing this weird thing. And they're like, submit a little quick picture and video if you can, just so I can see what you're talking about. So I did that. And literally within minutes, she called me back and then she's like, here, let me get you a shipping situation, right? So she sends me a shipping label and I immediately stuffed it in the box, which is funny because Mary Lou and I are box keepers, but I needed some space in the office. So I just threw out the dang box. Okay,
ooh, it's always like, just when you throw it out.
As soon as I threw out the box, I needed to send it back. But luckily, I got another box because, hey, Amazon comes to my house every day. So I sent it back and they have this really dope process. You go on their website and it shows you, okay, it's traveling. It has got caught at the Kentucky or whatever facility. And then it is now being inspected. They send you a video of the blue glove hands repeating your problem. Oh yeah. Hey, this girl is dead. Sorry, Rebecca has to go. All right. Then it says, we're going to send you a Rebecca replacement. All right, cool. I get a freaking phone call the next day. It's like, hey, this is Jenny from DJI Support. I just want you to know that yes, we are covering this repair. It's well taken care of. Your new device is already being shipped out. I'm like, her name is Rebecca. She's okay. Well, Rebecca is on her way and then she will be there in Monday. So you will also get an email with the tracking. Anything. I just wanted you to know the status. I have never had a company call me to tell me that my repair was done and they're sending it back. Other than Apple. We do that at Apple. But I've never had another company besides Apple. And what the problem you get working at Apple is you expect exemplary customer service from everybody because Apple gives it to you. You know, at a time. And it's just crazy that they called and told me that it was good. It was coming back. And then I said, here's my curse as a person who does these reviews online. I opened the box, I set it up, I'm doing all these crazy things, and I forgot to put on DJI Refresh Care. Now this instance reminded me I should have put it on. So since I'm getting a new Becky, can I put it on? And she's like, yeah, no problem. Says we do it. You got 48 hours, and then you can activate the DJI Refresh Care, which basically means they would have already sent me a new Rebecca while the other, as soon as the tracking label got sent to me, they already would have sent the new girl. So I could transfer things over, remove parts or whatever, and then send the other one back. And that just makes their honor system a little easier. And it's only $35. But anyway, I got to say, that goes to show you one person being an absolute twat waffle. Oh, do I have to cut that out? Never mind, it's my show. Versus the rest of the people being good. So don't just make an immediate judgment because Darren, let's call his asshole, Darren, just because Darren was like that. And I really thought Eden was going to clock him. That's all. that is all. So like, what you say? I'm like, oh, Eden, put it back. Don't hit him with a basketball.
And then this is also to have you guys like make your own decisions about brands. Just make your own decisions when there's a train of hate or love. Either way, right? The hype train or the hate train. Just make your own choice to get on or off that train.
Choices. This theme is going to be about choices. Okay, so we're transforming your weaknesses into unstoppable strengths with a matter of a small little tweak in the mindset, just like a little.
So here's the game. Okay, I'm going to spit out.
These grapes are rotten. They're not rotten. These grapes are wine. There we go.
I'm going to shoot out some perceived disadvantages
Okay.
right? Because like a disadvantage to one person is an advantage to the other. So we'll just say perceived, and then you flip it.
All right. Ooh,
Okay.
I'm playing. I know what we're playing. We're playing a game called.
It's your formidable friend yet.
That's what this
Yep.
game is called.
Put the thing down, flip it, and reverse
it. Okay, so over planning. That you mean?
Oh, because
like,
you're reading you're reading the notion. You let me prompt you.
I thought you want me to do it live. Okay, but
well, like,
okay.
But don't look at the notion. I'm writing
Okay.
them, so I have notes to tell you. Okay, so close the notion.
Hey, look,
we have a notion where we like share things, but like over planning's the first one. Now, just like
I'm gonna look away
for a second.
I'm gonna look away. In the meantime,
I should have put it not in the
notion.
That's
I want to remind you, folks, that if this is your first time listening to Creators Unstuck and you finding any type of value in this situation whatsoever, yes, please do follow, subscribe, whatever you want to call it. And I think one of the greatest things that you can do for any person that you watch and you endure is actually type them something and let them know. Because I got a crazy positive message from a new subscriber this week. And a lot of times when those come in, it's right after you got some heinous message from somebody that makes you think differently about human beings. So I think whenever you find any creator, let it be Sammy, let it be Paul, let it be Alicia, if they put out something that you're like, all right, that's fire, please give people their flowers. That's how this is called a callback in the business. Going back to, the industry and how people can be perceived that the online is bad or, spending too much time online is bad. That's because they only hear about the negative stuff that happens online. Nobody talks about the positive things that happens online. You know what I mean? My brother June and I, we have a friend, Travis. He was a neighbor in business, but also a good friend of mine. Travis ran a shop right across the street from our store. It's called Hypersports. This is where I was in the street race and all the street racer kids, we all built our cars at Hypersports, so to speak. Travis and I are super close. Travis was on a trip in Japan and had a heart attack. And then he had to stay there because you can't fly back. Well, the wife reaches out to everybody online, send the prayers and thoughts for Travi. And then, our friend group got together and raised like $125K to help cover his expenses so that he can recoup in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So don't spend too much time online. Man, shut up. The online can do some dope things. The bad stuff is because that's what you elevate. Whatever you think about, run this back 3 times so that they get it. Whatever you think about last time, so it's deep in your head. Whatever you think about expands. So if you only think about the negative ish that happens online, that's your world, Poppy. I think about the positive things online can do, like allow me to hang out with Mary Lou, allow me to meet dope cats like Paul and Alicia and Mr. Camera Junkie and my boy Rich in Texas, who took me to barbecue and I still taste it. To see my man Wills when I come to LA with Mary Lou. Like, that's what online did for me. Online got me more friends. So I want to hear your horrible stories. And big ups to you and speedy recovery. Everybody send out your positive thoughts to my boy Travi because he's really like family. Because whenever June would be like, Doc's supposed to be moving TVs, where he at? And then he would cover for me because I'd be at Hypersports goofing off, and he'd be like, "Bro, you got to get back. Mom's gonna kill you." Okay, I was in the garage. I was sorting serial numbers, or the warehouse, not the garage. Anyway, so big ups to that. All right, Mary Lou, you ready?
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Over planning.
So you want to know how to flip it, or?
So for you, like you think that over planning is a disadvantage.
Yes.
How is it an advantage?
Oh, well, it's an advantage because in theory, should something come up, you should be ready. So in theory, you have also planned for the contingencies. I just say a lot of times the over planning types don't plan for contingencies. They got everything planned for the case it works out. So if you are going to be an over planner, make sure you add contingency plans as well. That's just my military training kicking in.
Okay. Financial. disadvantage.
Oh, start ugly, because then you have some place to go. Luis says this all the time, and I completely agree with him. If you come out the gate hitting a Grammy on the first go because you came in fully loaded, fully funded, or whatever, everything else looks like a failure. But if you start at the bottom, now we here, to coin the phrase of the guy losing the battle, people get to see you make the changes on the way up. You also leave yourself open for the underdogs to ride with you. And in a way, that's even better. You have a full grassroots upbringing. They seen you. I seen Green Day in the basement on Telegraph Avenue when they were special children or sweet children. And then they're Green Day. I saw them when they weren't Green Day. And today, one of my favorite bands, even though a lot of people can't stand Green Day, I love it because I saw them when they were just starting out and kind of horrible at like, we got paid $15 to do this gig.
Okay. Age started too late. Too late to start.
Bruh, this is
your bread and butter.
My bread and butter. And funny enough, I never really spent a lot of time like making these specific videos, but recently YouTube, there is this trend of all these people being like, you're over 40, you should be making videos. Yo, I've been saying this mess forever. Like theoretically, when YouTube started, I was already pushing 40, right? Because I've been at this 17 years. So that's exactly 40. You know what I mean? You have experience. You have a lot of experience, actual real world experience. A lot of the cats talking this wolf online, they have no experience. They heard about, they read about, somebody told them, a teacher told them, but they have no actual real world experience. You have this strong advantage, not disadvantage. You have the strongest advantage of having actual real world lived experience. You also have you're not like sidetracked in theory by some of the vanity things because you're already past that. Like there's no way I'm going to get these wrinkles to disappear. But I just had it happen in the capsule group. People talking about like, how do I put on a cute little blurry filter? And I'm like, you don't. You just don't. Man, I tell you what, every time I see somebody older than me with a solid black head of hair and a solid black beard, I just like, bro, you ain't fooling nobody. Could you imagine Paul showing up with jet black hair and jet black beard? He would look like Steven Seagal. So that's a prime example. See how foolish Steven Seagal looked with jet black everything when he's 78? Come on, dude. Stop it.
Come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. And I always say like aging is a privilege. Aging is a privilege. We don't all get there. We don't. So you know a lot of stuff. Okay. On the flip side of that, too young.
Even better. You have time to make mistakes. You have all the time in the world to make mistakes. Something I have to talk with Kaz about all the time, Kaz, my nephew, because, again, 14 and just starting out. Like he wanted to hurry up and get there. I'm like, bro, please stop it. Don't hurry up and get there. Because sooner or later, you're going to be like me and your mom talking about, damn, that hurt. Oh my God, that hurt. You're like, what's wrong? Nothing, but it just hurt. So like, yeah, you're definitely in a position right now where you have the ability to pivot. You make a mistake. You got plenty of time to overcome from it. You can go from rich to broke to rich again to broke again to rich again with the amount of time you have left over.
Very much so. Okay, so now health issues or being differently abled.
I am differently abled. I was born Black in America.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is just, you can't do anything about that. Why struggle with something you can't do anything about? Right? When I was coming up as a kid, we didn't have a diagnosis for, adult attention deficit disorder. You were just considered bad or special ed. But it turns out we're actually super smart, but just can't sit still. You got to constantly be moving. You got to constantly be doing, or your brain just goes different. I think neurodivergence, every human being on the planet is neurodivergent. When otherwise we'd all be the same. We'd all be robots. We'd all be clones, if you will. Attack of the Clones, good series. So considering that we're all aren't born on Mandalore and somehow became a clone army, freaking Fett. Yeah, it's up to you to take the things that work for you and find your tribe. Absolutely find your tribe. I saw a
like
TED
on
Talk.
that note, like
Go ahead.
remember when being a geek, like being a Star Wars fan was a disadvantage, and there's like San Diego Comic-Con is like the biggest thing
Biggest.
on the planet, right? Like
Bruh.
it's huge. So
The best thing that ever happened to me was going to Comic-Con and seeing like, oh my God, there's a whole lot more nerds out here than the rest of the world will let you know. Like, we are nerd deep. Not to be confused with Mob Deep. So, yes, like
Nerd Deep is a good name though.
Nerd Deep is a good name, bro. I should like steal their album cover and like turn it into Nerd Deep. But yeah, it's just really, you're so true, Lou. There's so much to be seen, and somebody needs to hear from you. I tell Aubrey all the time, that we probably wouldn't know the old Aub that she keeps trying to get back to. We don't know her. We don't know that person. That person was a coder and busy and probably wouldn't have time for us because they were busy at the White House talking about girl coding and all these things. But the Aubs we got now after her accident and her ability to not remember nothing for more than 10 minutes, that's the Aubs we love. We don't even know that other girl. I'm always like, F that other girl. We don't know her. She would have been one of them too cool for school kids. But now
we
she's
got
one
our
of us.
Obs.
Yeah, she's our Ob. She's one of the broken ones. She's, we're the cracked shell egg game. I mean,
Come on over.
Come through.
Okay. Location. I don't live in a city that is worth filming in. I don't have anything interesting going on where I live. Location.
Man, that is, believe it or not, one of my weaknesses. You guys are going to laugh. Please do not laugh, but this is true. Believe it or not, one of my weaknesses is being in Honolulu. I am super isolated from all of the events. Anything I need to go to is 20 hours of travel, right? To show up to Creator Camp, I will be up for a day. By the time you guys see me, I will have been up for over 24 hours to get there. When I got to just go to the West Coast, it's about 8 hours of traveling just to get to Cali. But you know what? I show up to every online thing possible. I create every online thing possible. If I cannot get to VidCon, I make my own. I'll make my own little VidCon in the Zoom meeting somewhere, right?
Yes.
It takes me 13 hours to fly to Boston. It takes me 12 hours to fly to New York. And then from JFK back to the city to get to B&H is another 2 hours, depending on what time you land. Yeah, just like, I don't know, man. Like, what does not Marshall Fox, that's stupid dumb. What does Martin Lawrence say? I'm going to be where I'm at. Yes, so yeah, that's not true. And honestly, a good photographer can find dope imagery anywhere. In the middle of Walmart, they can make something look quite amazing. Ain't nothing in Walmart amazing.
And that's like you think about if you're in a location that isn't a destination, right? Doesn't have neat stuff, that is where you can create something new. You can be the one who looks at it in a different way, right? So that is an advantage.
Yes.
All right, just a couple more. No followings.
Every single person from Jimmy to Carly SCX to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift started when the only people that heard her sing were her mama and her daddy. Actually, Taylor Swift started when the only people heard her sing was her horse and her chickens. Now she can do an Erase tour, and like everybody and their mama, including Mary Lou and Des, is up in there screaming in the back.
Just crying our eyes out, yes.
Right, but Tay started with one people listening. Right? According to half of the population, the earth started with 2 people. That's a stupid math. But I'm just saying, if you believe that, hey, knock yourself out. I don't. But according to y'all, Adam and Steve invented this whole joint. There you go. Genghis
true.
Khan started
All right.
with one kid.
So, okay, you had no following, but what about no real life support? Like nobody in your family gets it. Everybody's just talking trash.
F your family. Nobody in my family got it. Nobody in my family understood it at all. But I just kept doing it anyway. And then eventually, some of them started going, oh, hold up. This is the thing. I still have my cousin's wife is like, I don't understand it. What? You actually make money doing this stuff? I'm like, yeah. I mean, you can support your life just being like, I'm like, yes. She is a financial planner. Okay? So in her brain, it is impossible to make a living doing what we do. So 3-4 Christmases in a row, not understanding it. And then she was like, you going somewhere again? Yeah. You guys just came back from Japan in December. Yeah. But you guys are going back to Japan again? Yeah. Are you selling drugs? No. She still don't understand it because she's a financial planner. In her world, you got to work 9 to 5 and get a pension and get an IRA or a SEP IRA and all this other BS. And I'm like, you would crush it if you would just do this online because she's smart, she's personable, she's attractive, she's a mom, she speaks English and Japanese fluently. And I'm like, you could make more doing this online than you can making people's financial thing, whatever. And you would like it, but she's still having a hard time wrapping her head around the fact that it's a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. All right, the last one. We will end on
I thought we were F your family.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but trolls. It's like real trolls and then the online trolls.
All right, I'm going to say something really, really bad, and I'm sorry. This is just the facts of my world. I'm just the facts of Mary Lou's world. When I hear people complaining about trolls, they tend to be CWMs because nobody came for them because they're quote unquote in their head top of the food chain. Normally is black t-shirt boys. I have a group of friends that all they do is show the trolls that come for them. Okay, the reason why I say that is because imagine being born a poor black child in the 60s. Internet trolls ain't new. Real life trolls is new, as normal, right? Imagine being born a gay dude in the early 60s, late 50s if I count my math. Trolls have been a part of my homie's life for 67 years. 68, I think his birthday's coming up. Imagine being born half Hungarian, half Filipino. Trolls been part of my girl's life for 40 years. Ain't nobody got nothing to say to me online that has not been said to me to my face. How low can you go? Death row. What a brother. Sorry. Even Mark got that Public Enemy reference. See how good that is? So that one I don't understand. I really don't understand that. However, I posted this week in my Instagram, and I'm not wanting you to see it because I want you to follow me or whatever. Just go see it. I think whenever you get a positive comment from somebody, you should share it, post it, copy it, put it in the folder, clip it, put it in Notion, and build that awesomeness file. Because every positive comment is a defense against 200 effed up ones. Because you are making an impact on somebody's life and you mean something to them. And when I hear stuff like that, when, you know, everybody comes in the community and be like, hey man, like I really need to hear that right now. Or I needed this minute. Like Joe said earlier in the chat, hey, I needed to see this minute. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that are good. those are the ones that mean the difference. The trolls can kiss my black ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like, so with trolls, there's a couple different ways that I end up approaching it. But one of my favorites is when I turn them into content.
Yes.
You take the troll as a gift.
Yes.
Right? Like, this is like what stand-up comedians can do. Like, if they're good at it, they will take the heckler as a gift. Thank you for saying some bullshit my way. I'm going to turn that on its head, and we're going to have new jokes for the next 45 minutes. If you get a troll in your comments, if you got the energy for it, like, there are the days where I'm like, I can't look at you. I just straight delete them. I'm like, it's not going to haunt me in my notifications. Like, you're gone. But when I got the energy, do I tell you, I got that energy. And it's the most fun twist, because they're like, oh, you see me? Oops.
Y'all do not know about the revengeful nature of Filipino girls. I can tell you firsthand, it's not safe.
When I wake up right, and like when I got the time, boy, do I have time.
Oh my God, it is not a safe place. You got to understand, like, our cultures have been screwed with for thousands of years. I've said this to my friend a long time ago, and it's funny. I'm like, Filipinos are the black people in Asia. I've
heard that my whole life.
They've been F with for freaking thousands of years. The Bible only goes back to Filipinos been F with for like 8,000 years. And so I'm just saying, like, you hella stupid. You hella stupid. That's why they all can sing so good. They've been around for a long time. So, no. It's a thing. Like, it's a thing. I agree with you 100%. When I have the energy for it, I'm going in. And what drives me crazy is when people trying to be nice, they like redact their name. I'm like, nah, don't redact their name. Let everybody know that Paul Jennifer Duncan is a butthead. Not mine, a different one. But you know what I mean? And I just love it. I was watching Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. They were interviewing each other, and he said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Ryan, David, Jessica, Allison Reynolds. And I just thought that was funny. So that's where that weird reference came up. Paul, I know your middle name is not Jennifer. I just thought that was funny. Thank you, Mary Lou. Thank you for saying that, because I think trolls can just be like hecklers in a comedy show. Just light them up. Just light them up. Your community normally will protect you anyway. But yeah, that's why I say, people, it's important when you see somebody doing something dope and you really like it, do the entire planet a favor and say something nice. Because a lot of people don't know this. If you are being a good citizen of a platform, like you're going in, you're leaving good comments, you're actively communicating with creators, you know what they say? This person is an engaged member of the platform. Let's bump up their videos and see what happens. And nobody knows that. None of the quote unquote algorithm specialists would tell you you could actually get a decent bump just from being a decent human being in other people's videos. Holla.
Just like real life. You just say hi to people, comment people. Like, I am always walking by, like, somebody I will never see again in my life. I'm like, I love how that color looks on you. I do that all the time. And Will is like, really? I was like, dude, yes.
I always give strangers compliments, bro. That's why I got sort of, this is really jacked up. The fallout from the Me Too movement is super irritating to me, because I always thought it was nice to recognize somebody when they just got their hair did, or if they got a nice set of kicks, or nice outfit. I always give compliments to strangers, because you are the difference between them having a smile on their face, or maybe somebody at work pissed them off. You might have just saved somebody's kid from getting their ass beat by giving somebody a compliment. Because people do dumb shit like that. They get a bad day and then they go home and beat their kids.
Right.
And I'm not making that up. I know for real life.
Yeah, that's true. Like, and just a little nuggets of putting good out there. It'll come back your way. It'll come back your way. Just do it with good intention, without expecting anything back. And then it's just like a little nuggets of joy. And I hope that we gave you some little nuggets of joy in whatever your disadvantages that you feel like they are. If you still feel them, like, put them in the comments. We will help you flip them around. And even if you've had disadvantages that are actually, you realized, your unfair advantage, we'd love to hear about that too, because this is about the community. We want to hear from you. We want to help you. because we love our creators.
There you go. Man, you got it. That's how you end the show. Like, you know, I'm Doc Rock. You can find me all over the internet at Doc Rock Everything. And then that right there is the ever impressive, super dope, don't piss her off, Mary Lou.
You can find me all over the internet at Mary Lou Mandel.
Oh my God. That is super funny. That is super funny. Ladies and gentlemen, you made it through another episode of Creators Unstuck. Like Lou said, be sure if you found any love in this, write it in the comments. If you know somebody need to see this, share it with them. If you having thoughts about your weaknesses or strengths or whatever you want to holler about it. Just let us know. And we can't wait to see you again here on Creators Unstuck. So you know what it's time it is to say. See you. I get it, Creators Unstuck. See you. He funny. It's up.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now.